Hey everybody, my name is Jennifer and this is Metatron speaking. I have a message for you today. I basically tried to pull a message for myself from a bunch of Oracle decks, Oracle cards, um, and I want to share this message with you. So I was working with Ra or Creator to get this message, and he talks about a lot of different things with me, and I feel like a lot of it can be relevant for anybody. So he kind of talks about opportunities. He talks about God or him helping us versus us helping ourselves. He talks about having perspective. He talks about purpose. He talks about romantic love. So it's like we like span this huge conversation together through looking at these cards and getting this message for myself. I have Oliver here below me today, my fluffy orange cat. He is acting like he's well behaved. He's got his head down like he's gonna sleep, but he may or may not pull on this cord and like move my camera everywhere. Okay, let me show you some of these cards. And he combined different ones from different decks to get the message to me. And when I first pulled out all the cards, I was like, I need your help. Like, which cards go together with which cards to make a message? Because this is just a lot. So these first three cards, let me show them to you. Good fortune, which I was really drawn to the scarab in the center of this, and that being kind of a Egyptian reference, especially since I'm talking to Ra, the Egyptian sun god. This one came through, book, knowledge. And this one, dreams, incubation. And again, you can see like the Egyptian figures in the background here. So I was looking at the cards and I was like, okay, Egyptian knowledge, dreams. And I was like, it like hit me what I said, and I was like, oh, are you gonna give me Egyptian knowledge in my dreams? And he actually laughed, and I haven't heard him laugh before. Like he thought I was quite amusing, so he properly laughed at me in a kind way, and he said, well, actually, he didn't say anything. Let me see. Let me check my notes. So I'm actually telling you the accurate story. So the way I saw him, because he laughs, and then I like tune into his energy, and he's like doing a different thing now every time I look at him. So this time he was actually on a throne made of gold, which I haven't seen him on. Um, he was holding a golden staff. He looked like a human. He wasn't like radiating light or anything like he normally does. So he looked like kind of like an Egyptian pharaoh instead of a god. And so as I'm writing the notes saying he looks more like an Egyptian pharaoh than a god, he says the god of gods because he always has to remind me of that. So he says that to me and he smiles because he knows I think he's funny. So I told him, you look more like an Egyptian pharaoh than a god of gods. And then he looks down at his clothing, which is like not even very much because he doesn't wear anything over his torso. He just wears like exactly what you think a pharaoh wears from the waist down. He's got like that, it's not a skirt, but it's like a wrapped piece of material that maybe goes down to like the knees. So he's wearing that and he's like looking at his clothing and he says, "But you like it." Because I'm like, "You don't even look like a god, you look like a pharaoh." And he's like, "But you like it." And I couldn't even argue with him because he can like read my thoughts. And so I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, you're right." He knows all. So he stands up and he's like walking towards me. And I say, "You're going to tell me about all these cards?" And he says, "I'm going to tell you about all of it." And his voice was different this time. It's interesting because the same way guides can change how they visually appear, they can change how they sound. And so Ra this time had this really low, deep, slow cadence to his voice, and it was really deep. It was really, really deep. So it kind of had that like godlike sound to it. And so I was asking him, okay, like what cards are we gonna start with? Because I just went over the three that I was excited about, where I was like, oh, I'm getting Egyptian knowledge in my dreams. And he's like, we're starting with the Pegasus cards. And so I was like, oh, like, okay, so let me show you. So he tells me to pick up these cards, which I'm going to show you. He starts playing. I just have to show you this one. I don't even pay attention to the words, just look at these pictures. So this doesn't look like a Pegasus because this is a horse, right? But my Pegasus that I have seen in my visions since the like second I woke up looks identical to this. It has the unicorn because all horses, all Pegasus energetically are unicorns. Whether you see it or not, they have that energetic horn. And then mine has wings to go with it. But anyways, so I know we're going to be doing the Pegasus cards. He starts playing a song in my head. I don't know if you guys know. It's from Katy Perry. It's called Black Horse. And the lyrics are that he was playing in my head. Are you ready for a perfect storm, perfect storm? And he's actually been playing that song in my head for the last 3 days. And I couldn't figure out why. And now it's making sense. So my black Pegasus's name, I don't know what it is in the language I named it in, but I know that the meaning of the name is storm. And so he's singing, Are you ready for a perfect storm? And we're talking about Storm the Pegasus. So I was laughing at him, and he thought it was funny too. So he said, well, actually, he's like, show the cards first, is what he's telling me right now. Okay, so I got this one, which is representative of my black Pegasus that I have. And I got these two. So this deck that I'm showing you, and I didn't bring the boxes, so I'm a horrible human being. I'll have to put the names of them in the description. So this deck is actually called something like Sacred Horse. This is supposed to be a horse deck. Well, look at that in a horse deck. There's a Pegasus, and so he gave me the Pegasus card and also this card because I have a white Pegasus, looks just like this with like the dark nose. And so he basically validated both of these animals to me that something's going on with them, that he wanted to talk about them. So he says your Pegasus, and he's referencing the black one. Your Pegasus is a doorway just for you. If you want to walk through it, if you want to walk through the doorway, go back to your Vivleo lifetime in the Andromedan galaxy with Leo to find out what she does. So, and we have to go back to so what he's talking about, Vivleo is this planet that I got like 5 seconds of a viewing of recently. And I actually also had a client who had a lifetime there. So I've seen like little tiny bits. It's a very magical planet. It's part of the Andromedan galaxy. It has very similar energy to Ghana, but I would say Ghana is more peaceful, and Vivleo feels like adventure and like a little bit of risk, and it's like it kind of up the stakes in the energy there. So he's telling me, go back to your lifetime there because I saw part of it and he's like, you haven't seen all of it. Go finish viewing this lifetime. So the lifetime, I'm going to try to locate it now, was with one of my guides, Leo. Leo is this blonde looking man who is an incarnation of Archangel Michael, who stepped forward for me very recently. So I did the I did the Andromedan activation. Of course, we have activations at my business, and so we always do all of our own activations, of course. So I did the Andromedan activation, and as part of that, I had two guides step forward. So one of them was An Leon, which was that Asian-looking man who was from Lior, that's another one of the Andromedan planets. So I had that lifetime with him, and I told you guys about it, and we were like eating egg rolls and like fried rice. Um, and so there was that lifetime, but I never really tuned into Leo and worked with Leo. He's been kind of hanging out waiting. Let me see if I can actually pull this up. Gosh, I hope it's in these notes. I have so many endless notes, guys, because I just oh, there it is. Leo. Okay, so Leo is from Anon, one of the planets I haven't seen yet. But when I had this vision with him, he takes me to another part of the Andromedan galaxy. I'm told it's the Cascarel constellation, planet Vivlio. We climb, and so this starts off by us climbing onto the back of something, and I feel like somebody has channeled this before on Earth, this particular animal. So if one of you guys feel like you know what I'm talking about, put it in the comments. Tell me where this thing is from as far as what someone else has channeled about it. It would be part of like a fantasy book, basically, or fantasy movie. But so this is like a giant animal. It's covered in, well, it's kind of shaped like a camel. Kind of shaped like a camel. It's got the four legs, but it's got this long tail. And the whole body is covered in this like long white hair. I guess it's not quite fur. Maybe it's fur hair. I don't know. It's covered in this long white fur, and it's got these like, I don't know, the legs are really thick. The tail is really thick all the way down. It's almost like a dinosaur tail, like a brontosaurus or something. It's got like these kind of like feathers fanning their face. And it's massive. Like we can climb on the back of this animal, but it's like the size of like bigger than a bus, bigger than a school bus. Um, so anyways, let me see what I wrote about it. So I see us, and it's like it's like a camel in that it has like kind of like these humps on its back. And so he's on like the front hump, Leo, and I'm like on the one behind him. And I can see that this is where that little tiny red dragon, Iggy, the one I saw recently, the one that was kind of acted like a, well, kind of acts like a cat, kind of acts like a dog, but it was like kind of going crazy on me, and then it just like laid down and wrapped its tail around me. It was kind of like a little scarf. And I was like, oh, this is like an emotional support dragon. So I can see in this vision that I am wearing him again like a scarf. And so I was like, okay, this must be the lifetime he comes from. So let's see. Oh God, this was the worst. I hate even retelling this. Okay, so we're on this massive animal, and it's like it walks really slow. It's kind of like an elephant, where it's like it does the slow motion walking, but it's really big and it's really tall. So I'm looking down from where I am on this animal, and there are black spiders. Sorry if this is triggering for anybody. And they are like the size of a dog. Like, I mean, the bodies were like this, and then there were legs. And so there's these massive black spiders that were kind of like scurrying around on the ground where this guy is like, walking, and they were trying to avoid being smushed by this animal. Like they seemed to be scared of whatever we were riding, which was good because I'm scared of them. in this lifetime, I am like, I have an irrational spider fear. I have an irrational spider fear. So like, I'll scream even if it's like that big. Um, the spiders were furry. Like, I didn't remember that. I had to read it. Their bodies had fur on them, and their leg kind of like fur down their legs. Ugh. Okay, anyways. Um, and so in this lifetime that I'm viewing, I was also scared of the spiders and I like questioned Leo. I was like, is this just me? Am I the only one in this lifetime that doesn't like them? He's like, no, nobody likes these spiders. And so I was like, okay. So if you have a fear of spiders, perhaps you too were from this planet. Um, so let's see. And so when I saw that, I was like, okay, maybe that's why we're riding this really tall animal through this kind of foresty area. Because if we were on foot, we would be dead because these things are like, would just kill us. They're like the size of us. Um, this is why I brought Iggy. So I get stressed out around the spiders. And so I purposely brought my little dragon to help me feel better. I don't like the spiders. Leo is in front of me on our transportation animal, is what I'm calling him. I need to get a name. I need to get a species for this creature, which I haven't yet. Leo it was wearing a sword. Like he's wearing like a kind of like I don't know what you call them. It's like a belt that a sheath attaches to. So his sword is like in the sheath. Um, but he's not touching it at all. He's not because I was like, "Oh my God, are these things gonna like climb up this animal and attack us?" And so Leo's totally calm. He's not touching his sword or anything. So I was like, "Okay, I guess we're safe." Um, and so he was looking at them, but he wasn't worried about them. So he speaks to me in this language that sounds Nordic. Sounds I don't know. I don't know enough about each of the languages to tell you which one, but it was a very Scandinavian or like Nordic language that he spoke to me in. Probably not exactly one of them, but something similar. And so he kind of looks back and he says something to me, and I hug him from the back. I'm like just giving him a hug really quick. And he likes that. He's trying to be supportive because he knows I don't like the stupid spiders. And so I'm told more about these spiders. They don't go out of their way to hurt people, but they do bite, and it hurts badly. Um, and so I'm shown that they eat like small mammals that live in the forest. We are not like the thing they like to eat necessarily. So they're not targeting us, but you know, it's a giant spider for crying out loud. So if you like get in its way, it could bite you. So apparently, earlier in that lifetime, I was bitten by one. And so that's why I have this like fear that I carried around that lifetime and truly into today. So I probably need to clear some trauma for myself on that. Yeah. And so it's funny because so this is what I've seen of this lifetime so far. And then me, Jennifer, I yell at like Leo, my spirit guide. I'm like, this is the lifetime you wanted to bring me to? Like, you've waited all this time to show me like who you are and how I know you, and you wanted to show me spiders? Like, why'd you choose this one? Um, because he had told me earlier, like, this is your favorite lifetime with me. And I was like, there's no way, friend. There's no way because there are spiders and they're big and I got bit. There's no way this is my favorite lifetime for anything. um, and so it's funny because this is so hard to explain to you guys because I'm inside a vision and they're showing me through that vision something that's already happened, but I'm also still in that body. So I'm talking to him, telling him, this is the favorite lifetime you wanted to show me? And so he's still on this animal and he turns around and he kind of smiles at me, kind of cocky, like he knows I'm gonna like this, but it's gonna be later. But so it's hard to explain because it's like two different realities are combined. It's like this reality mixed with whatever's already happened in the past. Okay. So he turns around, he's got a cocky smile on his face, and I think, I wonder where we are going. The spiders seem to live in the forest. We are leaving that area now. The land opens up and becomes grassy with hills, um, and some small flowers. High in the sky above us appear to be large birds, but no, they are Pegasus. They stay high in the sky, circling and playing. Um, and so I'm actually obsessed in my current lifetime. I'm obsessed with Pegasus, and that has never, I feel like, I feel so strongly about it that I know this is like a lifetime after lifetime thing. And that obsession probably started with this lifetime. He says yes. Okay. So, and I was telling him, I'm like, I'm obsessed with Pegasus, but I'm actually not sure if Pegasus can compensate for the giant spiders that I really hate. So as we continue along, we see more and more of these Pegasus animals, and so they're like really high in the sky, but they're also like standing around on the land, just like the way a horse would. They are like birds. So there's like groups of them on the ground, and then one of them will kind of start going, like kind of start running, and they all kind of follow along and they all start flying at the same time. So it's kind of like a group of birds taking off. We get to a small house that has many barns and Pegasus outside. So it's almost like a horse farm, but it's a Pegasus farm. A man and a woman live there. They are older than us, but very able bodied. They are overjoyed to see Leo, um, who's, and I'm told his name was not Leo in this lifetime, but I'm just calling him Leo. And that wiggling of my camera is Finn walking around. Hopefully he'll sit. So these two people, man and woman, older than us, they're super happy to see Leo, who we're just going to call him Leo. They are his aunt and uncle. They breed Pegasus. Leo and I, in this lifetime, breed whatever that large beast was that we were walking on, which, dear God, I don't even know how we would do that, but I'm not even going to ask. So we were doing like an exchange with his aunt and uncle. We were doing like a barter. We were going to be leaving this giant animal there for them, and they were going to be exchanging us two Pegasus horses, one for each of us. The Pegasus have magic, and the type of magic is somewhat related to their coloring, each with their own custom energy. Leo has asked for a white-colored Pegasus. We walk over to the animal that they have prepared for him in the stables, and it's like a show horse. It's like ridiculously good-looking, glorious animal. Um, like no flaws on it. Like it's just I wish I could show this to you guys. It's just ridiculous. So the Pegasus and Leo, they like bond to each other right away. And here's the crazy thing. So Leo is an incarnation of Archangel Michael. When I do work in this lifetime in the astral realm, Archangel Michael goes with me to help out and protect me and help me move souls if I need to move souls. Um, I have seen him every time we go to the astral realm. He doesn't walk into the astral realm, he rides into the astral realm on his white Pegasus. Am I going to cry right now? I'm like feeling really emotional about this. The white Pegasus. Stop. I do not want to cry about this. I think Michael's giving me feels. The white Pegasus that Leo was getting in this lifetime. Stop it. He's seriously giving me like, do you see this? He's like making me want to cry. Michael's all emotional about this. So the white Pegasus from this lifetime is his baby. That's his white Pegasus that he has forever. Stop it. I don't know why he's doing this right now. He's totally purposely doing this because he can have feelings and stand back from me without me feeling it. He wants. I don't feel like he's doing this for me. I feel like he's doing this for you guys for some reason. But it's like him acknowledging um, that this was like a very special lifetime for him too. Yeah. He's not done giving me good emotions. You're gonna mess up my makeup, Michael. So it's a special lifetime for him too. Must have been really early on. Must have been really early on in incarnation for him to like. That's when he got his Pegasus. It's like kind of crazy. Anyway, so I've seen him all the time riding this Pegasus, and this is where it comes from. And it was really cool for me because I'd actually spoken to someone else who saw Michael with a white Pegasus, and I was like, yes, because it's like really nice when you channel things. When someone else independently has no idea that you know this and they can like verify because they've seen it too. That's kind of a cool thing. Um, so okay, Michael's energy finally backed off, so now I don't have to cry about his Pegasus anymore. All right. Um, so this is Michael's Pegasus that he rides into the astral realm when I go. Leo is one of Archangel Michael's incarnations. This is the lifetime he got his beloved Pegasus. I get a white Pegasus as well with like the gray muzzle, like I showed you from the picture. I put my forehead against the side of the Pegasus's neck. So I'm like just kind of leaning into their neck on the side, and I was patting her. And it was interesting because we got our Pegasus and we were both really excited about it. And we're taking because his was in one barn, mine was in another barn. We're taking mine kind of out a different exit through this barn, and we passed by this other stall with like hay or grass or something on the bottom of it, and there's just a little black foal in there all by itself, and it's like sitting on the ground, and it's really shiny black. Like it's so black that it shines white. It's insane. And so he sees us and he kind of gets up and he's kind of like bouncing all around and being wild. And the aunt and the uncle, Leo's aunt and uncle in this lifetime, they express that they're concerned about the magic of this particular animal. Um, so remember earlier, I was being told that the magic of each of these animals is somewhat tied into their coloring, has some kind of connection. So most of the Pegasus that they were breeding were like white or like some variation of white, white with yellow, white with gray, white with whatever, you know? And so, and I probably say that in my notes somewhere, but the white Pegasus were kind of the most predictable way to get a highly magical animal without any risks. And so they would breed the white ones because it would be really consistent where they would know what kind of energies this animal would have as it grew up. When they got this black one, they kind of freaked out because they were thinking, ooh, this could end up having like black magic or dark magic. And so that they were concerned about that. And there's like the energy to the black foal, black baby horse, was very different than the energy from the white Pegasus. The white Pegasus feels like an archangel. You can tell there's no darkness there. That's the only way to explain it. The black one, oh my gosh, this is interesting. They're talking to me right now. The black one feels like creator. Oh, I'm gonna have to talk to him about that later. It feels like creator. There's light there. It's obvious there's light there, but there's something deep and dark and mysterious there too. And it's that unknown factor that they don't know how that's going to manifest as it gets older. Um, so, anyways, the animal is big enough to fly. And so they don't really want him and they're freaked out about him. And so I asked them if we could have him too. And they are happy to give him to us because to them, he's a risk because they're not sure what's going to happen. They tell us, like, hey, if he grows up and the magic ends up being something like that you can't handle, like, reach out to us and we'll help you. So we fly home. Leo's on his white Pegasus. I'm on mine. And we've got this little black one kind of like flying behind us. So the magic of the Pegasus animal becomes properly available in their 7th year. So when we obtained these animals, none of them were 7 years old yet, not even the larger ones that we had. And so we didn't really know what we were getting magic-wise, but it was pretty safe to say what we were going to get for the white ones. So the 7th year is when people learn for certain what the Pegasus's magic is. Prior to that, it is only a guess, only an assumption based on color and the energy they give off. Sometimes the assumptions are wrong. The little black foal grows into this massive, muscular animal. Mine's like, honestly, this is the closest thing I've seen because the hair is correct and the shine on the animal is correct, but mine was even bigger. Mine was even more muscular. It was insane. Anyways, it grows into a massive muscular animal with a long wavy mane and hair so black that it shines white. This animal is no doubt a powerful animal. And I should tell you, Pegasus are like androgynous, and so I'm gonna say he or she, but they're really both. Um, the white ones, the white Pegasus, are consistently known for having the highest and or best magic, so these are favorited. Other colors have a different flavor to their magic, but are usually less powerful than the white ones. The white Pegasuses that we have, they turn 7 really shortly after we get them, and they serve us well. They emanate a high vibrational energy. They are a blessing to the land and to our family. They are the highest form of spiritual protection, combining unicorn energy, which is extremely protective, with another component, which is these like divine angel-like wings, basically. Bad things don't happen to us in this lifetime. We don't suffer from spiritual attacks or illness. These Pegasus create a buffer for us. They are like a living charm or amulet. So I name my white one whatever language we speak, I name it something in that language, of course, but the meaning of what I've named it translates into starlight or something close to that. And I'm not given the name of Michael's or Leo's Pegasus. on purpose, I'm sure. A lot of times in the spiritual world, and I don't know what this is, but names are very sacred. Names are very sacred in the spiritual world. And so that's why, like, if you're trying to get your soul name, it's pretty heavily guarded. Typically, you can only get the soul name of yourself and not anyone else. Um, like, if you're trying to get your dragon spirit guide's name, same situation. If I try to get somebody else's dragon's name, nope. Like, they don't, it's like not this thing you like throw around. It's like this powerful, meaningful thing, and it's special for others to know your name. And it's the same way with Creator. I'm going to share this with you guys. Very early on into channeling, I was being nosy because I'm always nosy. And I was asking like for my soul name, and I was given that. And then I started asking, like, does Metatron have like another name? And and it was like yes. And so I was given by Creator um, Metatron, Michael, and Raphael. He gave me their names as he named them when they were created. And Creator, which I actually can't believe he did now that I think about it, Creator gave me his name, his proper name. Um, and I understand now why people have derived the names that they have for Creator. And I think even in like Jewish culture, there was like, I don't know how they say it. It was like the unspeakable name or something, and they would just give consonants. What was it? YHWH, and they would just give the consonants and no vowels, and they'd be like, okay, this represents his name, but it's sacred, so we don't say it. We don't, and so they really got it correct because you don't just say God's proper name, like, and that's not what they think it is not exactly what it is. It's something different, but it's something kind of similar. So I understand why they got that. Okay, so that's a side note on names. Um, okay, so I don't know the name of Michael's Pegasus because if somebody finds out one day, that's awesome, but you're probably going to be told not to tell everyone else. Let's see. So the black Pegasus, as it grows up, is still very active as an adult. It loves to run fast, loves to fly. I call her a she. When she turns 7, it's like someone turned the power switch on, and suddenly the energy from this animal was a different vibration. And I could hear it. It was like something loud and something like low, like a low volume, a low vibration. A low vibration sounds bad. It's just like a deep vibration coming off the animal. And she would give off this frequency, and you could like feel it ripple down through the ground, almost like this sonic boom that would come off of her. And so this is what I'm told. She's connecting to earth. No, excuse me. She's connecting to energy at the center of the earth, a liquid metal, Mercury. I'm going to pause there a second. I Googled this because I was like, is the center of the earth liquid mercury? And scientists believe it's like something else that's liquid. I think it's like iron and something else. Anyways, you heard it first here. It's going to be mercury one day when they discover it. Okay. So they're referencing Mercury being there. Storm, this black Pegasus, is Mercury energy. So Mercury energy is fast, intelligent, versatile, enhancing divine messages, and symbolic of the human spirit. Mercury represents human consciousness. Mercury in our world, in the 3D physical world of Earth, Mercury helps extract gold from the raw ore of this world. So it helps extract gold. Well, what do we know about gold? We've been talking about gold a lot. Gold is protective. Gold is connection to divine. So the energy of this horse, this Pegasus, extracts protective energy, extracts divine communication. Um, and so the energy of this animal protects against evil. So she is for my protection, to improve my channeling. And this is what I was told, she can extract light codes that were placed in gold. So now this is like, we're getting somewhere else now, because I had this same concept come up with a client who had a past lifetime on this same planet. I wonder what that means about this. But she was from this same planet, and it was the same situation. Oh man, I want to tune into that message right now, but I'm not going to because I need to finish this video. Um, but basically, for some reason, there are light codes in gold. I'm trying to see if he can give me information right now on it. Okay, okay. It's like this is weird. Gold is kind of like a computer or like a computer screen. They're showing me that gold is like conductive of messages. And so a divine being, an angel or God, or a god or goddess can imprint or stamp energy onto gold, and the gold holds the message. And so they can imprint the light code. Gold holds on to it. And this horse, this Pegasus, knows how to interpret and receive the messages from gold in order to transmute it out so that it's usable. Because the way they're just showing me this right now, the way the energy imprints on the gold, light codes have to be, holy cow, light codes have to be transmuted through a human, is what they're saying. But that's a Pegasus, and she can do it too. Pegasus and human. There are others saying that's interesting. So this is okay. What they're telling me is this is a Pegasus quality that humans received, because remember, human DNA, we have like those 24 strands or whatever it is of all these different kinds of DNA from all these galactic groups. We got some Pegasus DNA somewhere in there, because this is one of the qualities of them that we were given on purpose. Okay, so that's why, like humans in this lifetime, in this world, when we're giving light codes, we have to sing it, we have to write it, we have to dance it, we have to like emanate it out from our being. And because we have the capacity to transfer it from like writing into like an energy source. It's kind of, that's what they're showing me. So I'm just going to leave it at that. This is freaking fascinating. Okay. I'm glad I have this recorded because I want to know this information for later. Okay, so let's see. So the Black Pegasus can extract light codes that were placed in gold. She can transmute them from what's in gold to usable codes for me. And so she's been doing this for me lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, because I'm always some species that can't do it on my own, or I'm a human and I don't know how to do it on my own, so she's doing it for me. That's crazy. Um, so that's my spirit guide. Um, she was actually so this black Pegasus, when I first woke up, like I first got my very first Reiki session, I had a vision. I saw an angel. I freaked out. I saw like uh demons. I saw a gray, like I saw all these things during this vision, and it just like blew my mind. And and so every night after that, I started meditating because I wanted to see more of this world that I knew nothing about, but I knew I wanted to know everything about it. So every night I would meditate. And one night I saw this little black foal. And it didn't have a horn, it didn't have wings, because if I had seen a unicorn or a Pegasus when I was just barely waking up, I would have been like, okay, I'm drunk, I'm crazy. I would have like ignored it. And so they removed those. They just showed me as a horse, baby black horse. How cute. Wrote it down in my journal. Next night, meditate again. Massive, glorious, beautiful, galloping black horse. And I was just like, the energy off of it was just blowing my mind. And so I see this adult run by. And so now I understand. Oh, she was showing herself that way because I've had her since she was a baby. We go way back. Um, but yeah, so I feel super connected to this animal because it's one of the first things I ever saw in my visions. Let's see. The white Pegasus that I had, when she turned 7, she had like a calmer energy. Her energy is cleansing, like spiritual bleach is what I have, clearing out whatever is dark. She seems to have standard white Pegasus energy until one day in her barn, I see her paw the ground with one hoof like she is nervous. I go forehead to forehead with her, and information transfers. She is like a transmitter, receiving bits of magical knowledge and then transferring them to me. So, very, very, very similar to the way the Black Pegasus does things. She is tapping into universal knowledge of the collective, but only small amounts come through at a time and not all the time. What comes through to me always applies to that lifetime. So, that's all I have on that lifetime. So, I'm going to go back up to the rest of this message for you guys. I apologize. This is a very long message. Okay, so Ra was telling me Pegasus is a doorway. This is a choice for you. Let's see what he says. Your Pegasus is a doorway just for you. If you want to walk through it, go back to that lifetime and finish it, which is what I just did. Like, I only had half of that originally. I had to go back and finish channeling it. Um, so now I know what she does, what both of them do, the black one and the white one. Find out for sure. Oh, because he references the white one too. Find out for sure what this one does as well if you choose that path. So Ra was giving me an opportunity. He's like, hey, I've got something fun planned for you. Does this interest you? If this interests you, pursue this and take action by channeling what they do. Um, the next step will be for me to start engaging with both of these spirit guides in a way where I'm getting the divine downloads from the white one and where I'm getting light codes I'm assuming from the black one. So that's what I know right now. So that's what I've told you guys. The next set of cards I had, gosh, these ones are crazy. I don't even know how to say that word. Geomancy or patience, Ogham, nature, Shagat. I'm saying these wrong. Fragmented. And so from the energy of these cards, I gathered that I was broken. I'm like, it's funny because when I get the message, I just tell Ra and I just see if he'll say yes or no. I'm like, so I'm broken. I need and I need time to heal because to me, this looked like a scar that had been sewn up on this tree. And so that's what I got from it. And he said yes. So he's referencing something in me that needed to heal. And he says, there are many things you wanted to heal in this lifetime. You haven't made progress on some of them. I'm helping you with those. And so I said, you're removing them from me? And he said, yes. And I was like, I should have been happy. But instead I was like, isn't that cheating? And he said, who is being cheated? And I said, why do I want to just like fix this myself? Like, I don't want you to like just hand me a solution. I want to figure it out myself. And he said, that is your ego and stubbornness. And so I asked him, do I need to have things removed in order to do the work I wanted to do in this lifetime? And he says, yes. And then so I asked him, okay, what blocks are you removing from me? And he said, pride and fear of failure. And then he says, you still have to make conscious choices. I only removed the blocks. And so this was actually really funny for me because this is exactly what I tell all my clients in our Akashic Record sessions, because we remove the blocks that keep you making the same choices over and over and over again, and you are locked into that pattern. And so we remove the block, which then gives the person the opportunity to consciously choose what they want to be doing instead of the thing they keep doing that's not working. So he tells me the same thing. He's like, well, I removed the blocks for you, but this is not like a magic bullet. Like, you still need to do the work. You still need to make conscious choices. So I was like, all right, fair enough. So it's funny because everyone always says, oh, the healer needs healing. Well, this is my style. Healer needs healing. It's like the Akashic Records person needs to have their trauma blocks removed. So that was that. And then back to this one. The Egyptian knowledge in my dreams. He says, this is Raw. He says, you've been downloading Egyptian light codes for a few days now. That's the energy coming out of your palms when you work with me to send out energy. The music you hear is a light code. This knowledge did not originate with the Egyptians, but the cosmic groups these particular light codes originate from are ancient, and few would recognize them. This is an opportunity, a pathway. So every time he's giving me a set of cards and he's telling me something, he's like, I am offering you a chance at growth. You can choose it or you cannot choose it. Just like he's like, I removed these blocks from you. You can choose now whether you work at this in order to be better or whether you just do nothing different. So he's telling me this is an opportunity, a pathway. If it's what you want, then pursue it. So in case you guys thought that, you know, I think sometimes we think that having spirit guides and communicating with them, they're going to give us really specific sets of instructions and they're going to tell us exactly what to do, but not always. In fact, probably mostly not. Um, it always starts off as this really broad opportunity. And the more you put time and effort into what they've offered, so um, in this case, he's talking about when I'm doing healings with Ra, I have light codes that I'm tapping into. And that's what I'm hearing when I hear music when we're doing that and when my hands are moving. And so for me to pursue this more is for me to practice that more and ask for more information, more understanding, more whatever I need to start taking that to the next level. It doesn't just appear for us. So I'm not going to just be like told, okay, now you have this extra gift or whatever. Um, that has happened in the past, not going to lie, but I think some of the things that have happened on my journey were very specific to meeting a certain timeline in order to benefit other people. But so for this one, I'm going to have to put time into it. I'm going to have to make time to try to practice this, to try to understand it. And as they see that I care about it, they're going to open more doorways and they're going to be like, okay, you're serious about doing this. Well, do you want to do this with it or do you want to do that with it? And they'll give me more choices and more opportunities to keep pursuing it. But if you don't take that first step, you're never going to see down the line and see what it could become. You have to take action. This means if you want to talk to departed souls, you need to start practicing and either taking a class or maybe getting a healing done to balance your chakras. You are unlikely to just wake up one day and have a new skill set. Most of us have to work at it. It's available for all of us. Psychic gifts in all their variations and all the possible skill sets, they're not just meant for the lucky few. This is how the human being was designed to do all of them. If you are interested in using a gift, then start putting effort into practicing it daily. Improvements are incremental and sometimes not perceptible with this kind of skill. It just accumulates over time as you get better at discerning energy and trusting your own instincts. So, when you're working hard at whatever it is you're trying to develop, usually the day to day or week to week, you feel like you're getting nowhere. But if you look back at what you were doing like 2 months before, then you're like, oh yeah, I've made progress. But it's hard to see it in the day to day. So you got to keep good notes to kind of see your progress to motivate you to keep going. Okay, so that's those cards. Is this all of it? These are so many cards. Okay. I had let go, safe travel, which whenever it talks about travel, I'm just like, oh God, let go and safe travel. This is a past life. We're going to travel to the past life and we're going to try to let it go. Like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, great. Wisdom. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We're going to get some wisdom from the past life. I see where this is going. Let's see. And then to further validate, literally a card that says past lives. And then this one. And the wording he wanted me to pay attention to was the worst is behind you. So I think he was kind of trying to motivate me that Come on, let's do this past lifetime. It won't be that big of a deal. Um, so Ross says there is a past life of yours waiting to be viewed. I'm not going to tell you much more about it. If you're interested, it's a doorway. You guys see the pattern here? If you're interested, this is a doorway, a pathway, another opportunity that you can take action on again and again and get something from it. Not everything is about trauma release. Sometimes it's just about perspective. So I was thinking about this past life, and I was thinking, oh, we're going to do this horrible past life. I'm going to see it, and we're going to release this trauma block, and then I'm going to work on whatever. And he's like, no, this really isn't about trauma release. This is about wisdom. This is about perspective. This is about you learning a perspective that you can take with you over and over again into different circumstances in order to get further in life. This is an opportunity. It takes work. It's not going to be fun to look at the life. It's not going to be fun to practice this new perspective over and over again. But if you want the growth, this is how we do it. So it's like, okay, I rarely ever say no to what's offered to me. Very rarely. Doesn't mean I do the best ever with it, but I'll try just about anything. So I tell Ra, okay, I'm ready. And he says, I thought you'd say that. And I got the chills. And I was like, I actually cussed. I used the F word because I only get the chills for Archangel Michael. And if I have a past life with Archangel Michael, it's going to be sad because he's like my incarnation buddy, where if something really horrible has to be experienced, I want to do it with Michael every time. I'm like, oh, I have to be murdered. Can Michael murder me? Oh, I'm going to kill someone. Can I kill Michael? Whatever it is, it's always something horrific every single time. Can I totally get my heart broken and have this happen? Oh, let's have Michael break my heart. So I got the chills and I was like, is Michael here? And then Ross says, yes, this is a lifetime with him. So before I even saw what it was, I wanted to throw up. My soul was like, nope, don't wanna. So I knew it was gonna be something bad. And it was. And I think I'm gonna not read this verbatim to you guys because I don't want to trigger any of you because it is a traumatic lifetime. So let me see if I can kind of make it not any more detailed than it needs to be. So I saw myself in a lifetime as a woman and is in modern times, and I end up having an intruder in my house who has come up behind me and is holding a knife to my throat. And I'm married in this lifetime, and my husband he heard whatever noise he heard and he knew something was wrong, and he comes into the room with a shotgun. And the intruder, who's got the knife to my neck, is like, I'm going to kill her unless you put your gun down. And so he puts the gun down. And my husband couldn't shoot the intruder because I'm being used as a shield, basically, to protect the intruder. I am raped by the intruder. My husband is present for this. In my mind, I'm upset about my husband. In my mind, I say, why doesn't my husband stop him? Why doesn't he get the gun? That's where my train of thought was. Afterwards, the intruder takes our jewelry and he leaves. I'm impacted in that lifetime, in that I have like the sexual trauma where I don't sleep with my husband after that. I'm like scarred by the event, and I didn't feel safe around my husband. So my thoughts were that it feels like if things really get bad, that I'm on my own. Like, because things really got bad. Things got really bad, and to me, I was like, he didn't stop him. I was on my own. And so that's what my thoughts were. My husband in that lifetime was Archangel Michael. Um, and so this is a soul contract lifetime. I signed up to be raped by an intruder. He signed up to be my husband for that event. Um, and so they're bringing this lifetime up to me now because I had trauma from it, and I was hanging on to things from it. So they showed me that after I died in that lifetime, I reviewed the life and I was still angry, even knowing that it was a soul contract, even knowing even being able to see Michael's perspective on it and feelings on it. I was still angry. I didn't want to forgive Michael for it. So Ross says it's about perspective, not about trauma release. So I'm like, okay, so let me think this through. So let me think about Michael's perspective. So from Michael's perspective in that lifetime, he doesn't want his wife to die. And so he comes to save me with his gun, right? There was nothing he could do to shoot the intruder and not shoot me. And the intruder said he would kill me if he didn't put down his gun, and he doesn't want me to die, so he puts down the gun. So he risks his life, really, because the intruder could have just been like, all right, now I'm going to like stab you, and now I'm going to kill her. Like, you know, you never know what could have happened. So he risks his own life trying to save mine, really. He had to watch something horrible. He probably felt horrible for not stopping it. And in the end, he still lost a lot because I was never the same person with him after that. Um, I like closed off my heart from the anger and everything else. So, in a way, Michael did what he set out to do in that lifetime. He wanted to keep me alive, and at the end of the day, I didn't die. There was nothing he did that caused me to die. Um, so if I could have taken that perspective during that lifetime, I probably could have gotten past it if I would have realized he loved me, he wanted to keep me alive, he did keep me alive, and taken that perspective and moved forward with it instead of clinging to, but I wanted him to do this, but I wanted it to end this way, when it's really just me resisting the fact that that event happened. The rape event happened. Um, so that is the opportunity I have now in my real life to take a different perspective when I get upset about things and I hold on to them. I think I'm going to stop the video here. I had one other set of cards, but I feel like I can talk about these with you guys at a different point since the video is already past the 1 hour mark. Um, I hope you took something for yourself from these experiences about how opportunities work from the spiritual world, um, about any number of things that we went over with this. But this is what I have for you guys today. I'll be bringing you another message after this one about the kind of going into depth a little bit more about the way the spiritual world works in offering opportunities and how that looks and what you can do. So I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.